Thoroughly Modern Millie is certainly a very interesting film, an Oscar-winning film, and stars the fabulous Julie Andrews as well as Mary Tyler Moore. However, I didn't quite think it was as fabulous as a lot of people hail it to be. It has a rating of 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a respectable rating, but it's not necessarily the top of the best. This was released in 1967. And the description from IMDb is as follows. Millie Dilmount comes to town in the roaring 20s to encounter flappers, sexuality, and white slavers. That sounds like a very odd description to explain what this is about. It's basically all about Millie exploring these new modern things in the 20s, and I do have to say, the outfits, the costumes are ridiculously amazing. They are absolutely fabulous. And I do feel like it transports you into the 20s. So in terms of the atmosphere, the set design, the costumes, absolutely brilliant. Millie is a character. I never really took to her too well. At no point did I dislike her, and she's certainly very well acted by Julie Andrews, but at no point did I think, this is one of my favourite characters, she's going to be one of my favourite musical stars. I could just kind of take her or leave her. I wasn't really rooting for her. I just wasn't that bothered. So I think for me, the reason why I don't hail this quite as much as some other people do is because the character of Millie just wasn't anything special. It just wasn't anything spectacular for me. The narrative is fairly interesting. There are some questionable situations. I would have probably found the narrative more interesting were I more interested in Millie as a character. But the pacing is fine, the development's fine, some of the situations are a bit odd, but they work fair enough. It's just not that fascinating, it's not that interesting. The Oscar that it won the Best Music Original Music Score, which went to Elmer Bernstein. And yeah, the music's fine. Again, it's not one that's going to ever be my favourite, but it's decent enough. Nothing wrong with it. So why don't I like it that much? For me, it's alright. It's an average film. If it wasn't a film that I'd heard of, if I didn't know that a lot of people love this film, I probably would be like, yeah, that was an alright film, I would recommend it. But because a lot of people really love this film, I just think, what am I missing? What am I not getting? Is there something there that I'm not seeing? And maybe there is. Or maybe I just don't follow the herd and like to have, I like to be honest. And obviously a lot of people sometimes say they like certain films because it's the thing to say. I'm not going to say that I love a film if I don't truly love it. I do like it. It's fine. But I probably wouldn't watch it again. That being said, I might see it on stage at some point. This film's directed by George Roy Hill, written by Richard Morris. Very well received, a lot of people love it, so I would definitely recommend it. I always think people should give films a chance of their own, unless it's one of the worst things ever, in which case I will always advise to avoid it. But this is most certainly not one of the worst things ever. It is a decent film. Visually, it's an absolutely spectacular film. But in terms of Millie as a character in the narrative, I just wasn't that bothered. So depending on what you're looking for, you might like it. Give it a go. Let me know what you think. For me, glad I've seen it, but almost definitely won't watch it again.